For decades, Mark Consuelos and Kelly Ripa seemed like the Hollywood couple who had it all: chemistry, charisma, and a seemingly unbreakable bond. But in a candid new interview with Variety, Mark Consuelos opened up about a chapter in their shared history that few knew existed, a secret, agonizing breakup that nearly ended their relationship before it ever truly began. "We broke up," Mark says plainly, his tone stripped of pretense. "It wasn't public. It wasn't pretty, and for a while, it felt like it was permanent." The year was 1996. Both rising stars on the hit soap All My Children, their on-screen romance had already spilled over into real life. To viewers, they were the embodiment of youthful passion and fated love. But behind the scenes, things were far more complicated. "We were young. Too young, maybe. We were kids," Mark begins, his voice quiet. "We were in our 20s, working insane hours, getting attention we weren't prepared for. Everyone around us was projecting a fantasy onto us, Erica Kane-level romance, and we didn't have the tools to navigate it." Mark and Kelly had been dating in secret for several months, trying to keep their relationship under wraps from both producers and press. But the pressure of hiding their love, combined with personal insecurities, began to wear on them. "She had this huge, bright energy," Mark says. "Kelly walks into a room and it lights up. I was just trying to keep up, and sometimes, I felt like I wasn't enough for her." The tipping point came after a disagreement about their future. Kelly had recently landed a new opportunity, a primetime offer that could shift her career trajectory. Mark, meanwhile, was wrestling with family pressures and a growing fear that the life they were building was happening too fast. "She asked me, 'Are you in this for real?' And I panicked," Mark admits. "Instead of saying yes, I said, maybe we should take a break." They broke up that night. "I thought that was it." Kelly moved out of the apartment they shared. Friends close to the couple assumed they had simply drifted apart. Few, if any, knew how deeply the breakup affected them. "She didn't call. I didn't call," Mark remembers. "We were both too stubborn. Too proud." He describes that time as emotionally hollow. Filming scenes together on All My Children became an exercise in torture. The scripts called for passionate kisses, longing glances, declarations of love, lines that suddenly felt like daggers. "I would go home after those scenes and just collapse," he says. "I'd watch the tape back and wonder how we made it look so real when we were so broken." Kelly, for her part, has rarely spoken about the split. In past interviews, she referred to it only obliquely, calling it a moment of uncertainty in their early relationship. But in the Variety piece, Mark reveals that Kelly later told him she thought they would never get back together. "She started to date again," he says with a laugh that doesn't quite reach his eyes. "And that messed me up more than I expected." The turning point. It wasn't a grand gesture or dramatic airport chase that brought them back together. It was a note. "One day, she left a sticky note on my dressing room mirror," Mark says, smiling now. "It said, 'Nice work today.' That was it. But it was the first kind word we'd exchanged in months." That simple message cracked the wall between them. They started talking again, slowly, cautiously. There were long walks after work, coffee in the early mornings, conversations that didn't revolve around scripts or schedules. "She didn't forgive me all at once," Mark says. "But she gave me a chance. And that was everything." 3 weeks after the note, Mark showed up at Kelly's apartment with a duffel bag and a half-eaten box of pizza. "I told her, this time, I'm not leaving unless you make me." She didn't. Less than a year later, the couple eloped in Las Vegas. That breakup made us stronger. Looking back, Mark doesn't regret the split, painful as it was. "It forced us to grow," he says. "It made us ask the hard questions early. What do we want? Can we handle each other's baggage? Can we grow together without growing apart?" For a couple that's now been married for over 2 decades, with 3 children and a joint morning show under their belt, the answer has proven to be a resounding yes. "But I never take it for granted," Mark says. "That breakup haunts me a little. It reminds me how fragile even the best things can be." He pauses, then adds, "I think that's why I love her more now than ever. Because we almost didn't make it. And we fought our way back." Ripa responds, "Reached for comment, Kelly Ripa shared a brief but poignant message: sometimes love needs space to breathe before it can fly. I'm grateful for every part of our story, including the chapters we don't usually talk about. When asked if they'd ever consider turning that hidden chapter into a movie or series, Mark chuckles. Maybe one day, but for now, it's just ours. A reminder of how far we've come. Epilogue. Still writing their story. Today, fans see Kelly and Mark as co-hosts of Live with Kelly and Mark, as well as social media's favorite flirty couple. But beneath the easy banter and Instagram snapshots lies a history built on truth, messy, complicated, and real. As Mark says at the end of the interview, everyone wants the fairy tale. But the truth is, even fairy tales have chapters where the prince and princess lose each other for a while. What matters is how they find their way back. And for Mark Consuelos and Kelly Ripa, the story continues, stronger, wiser, and more in love than ever.